Parthians and the Crucible by Awuku-Asabre. The Parthian society had and continued to have a very strong religious influence, which seems to be against everything in the modern era. Many misconceptions are created about the Parthians, which cannot be understood by a person outside their community. Arthur Miller's play The Crucible is situated in a Parthian town and portrays the many rules the Parthians follow as a group. Yet the extreme rules were not followed by everyone. The Crucible gives the audience an insight on the lives of the Parthians and consequences of going against their beliefs. The Parthians may appear to have very extreme rules and beliefs, but they did have a very strong influence on American society. Who were the Parthians? The Parthians were a reformed group of the Church of England. They were not content within the Protestant Church of England, so they decided to restore and purify it. They lived in the early 1500s in England. As Protestants already separated themselves from the Roman Catholics, but differed very little, they contended that the Church of England had become a product of political struggles and man-made doctrines. They wanted to purify the Church, separate any ties to the Catholics, by just reading and following the Bible without all the different group of Christian formalities which were emerging during this era. After trying numerous times to reform the church with no success, the Parthians decided to escape persecution and move to America. Most of the Parthians settled in the East Coast, New England area, in 1929. The population grew rapidly. Religion and the Bible became a very large principle within their community. Parthians are not the same as pilgrims. Unlike pilgrims who came to America prior to the Parthians believed that the Church of England was a true church, though it needed major reforms. Their strong beliefs of the Bible influenced their laws, beliefs, and practices. Parthian beliefs and practices. The Parthians followed the Bible very strictly. They isolated themselves from the world. They also followed the theology of John Calvin, a French reformer. The theologies of Calvin prescribed that actions in the mortal, living world was responsible for what happened to souls in the afterworld. They thought that by imposing these laws and practices, they would be able to save their lives, ensuring that they would go to heaven because they thought they were God's chosen people. Likewise, in the Bible, the Israelites were God's chosen people. Anyone who disagreed with the Parthians' way of life could have been punished, maybe even killed. A theocratic government is run in the Parthian societies, meaning that the government was run by church leaders before the rules were based on religion. Sunday was a day devoted to God. No work was done on this day. Going to church was mandatory. The Parthians praised and prayed to God on Sundays and almost every day.